Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a resilient market we have, do we not? We had Microsoft report last night. Earnings weren't great. Forecast wasn't great. Opened up down 5% this morning, and then what happened? Everybody's like, the market finally, the bears are pounding, and it's like, no, no, no. And the market rallies back up. Microsoft rallies back up. It was actually green at one point in time in the day. Ended up 0.5% down, right? Tesla, I'll go ahead and get into it for you because they just reported I'm recording this. Double beat, top and bottom line. Then they started forecasting. It says they'll expect to produce around 1.8 million vehicles in 2023. Consensus is 1.9 million. The automotive gross margin for fourth quarter, 25.9%. Not bad at all. Estimate was 28.4%. And so that's a whole different story. But hey, at least they beat top and bottom line. And we expect margins to shrink because they're low in price. But then, of course, the big question is the demand, right? And so, more people should be buying, according to Google. A lot more people are looking them up. Heck, even I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you seen the price with the discount and everything you can get? Oh, my goodness. And so they're very affordable. Anyway, I put this, I'll just go ahead and we're going to get right into this. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but also something that I want you to pay attention to. And always, people always say, hey man, what's this game within a game thing? I'm going to show you something because I'm just a regular dude, but if I can figure this out, so can anybody. Okay, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about with that. But I put this in the Discord last night about Tesla, and I said, obviously it's all about earnings. And to me, the chart was great. And so I told him you're looking at if Elon behaves well on the call and they beat top and bottom line and the forecast seems okay, this could easily run to 155 and then to 175 because it ran up so quick in the past and it dropped so fast in the present here that there really isn't a lot of overhead resistance. You got this big volume gap that's sitting at as well. And then, of course, if it ends up being bad, then we're going to drop because we get gaps at 134, 123, 115. Well, of course, we see how that played out. We'll see how the market reacts tomorrow and once Elon starts talking and everything. But this right here just sums up the market to me. Look at Boeing. Look at the EPS miss. My Lord, it's supposed to be 0.20. They get a negative $1.75 and miss top line. Look at that. And guess what? Didn't matter. Stock gap down in the morning. Boom. Went up. Oh my God. Hold on a second. No. And then look what it did the rest of the day. And went green for the day on that earnings right there. And the reason why, because it has to do with loosening financial conditions, what I talked about yesterday. And guess what? They loosened even more. This is the Chicago Fed National Financial Conditions Index. It updates every Wednesday, at 8:30. And you can see it dropped even more. And so that's why you see this right here. What's happening? What's the number one right now? I'll keep this updated for you. The NASDAQ jumped in the number 2 spot. We still got emerging markets number 1, but look at what is right behind them now. The NASDAQ, 8.3% on the year to date, but that's the month. In 3 weeks and 4 days, 8.3%, almost double digits on the index here. And so that's why you see this pump. And, talking about earnings, you see right here, what's crazy to me is this is EPS, right? This is what they're actually still expecting, earnings per share for the NASDAQ and S&P. And look at that. That's what their expectations are. And you can see what it was pre-pandemic right here. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? But that's the expectations. And you see what people are doing, how they're responding to these earnings. It just doesn't matter. EPS misses by a country mile. Who cares? Whatever. Stock takes a little short-term hit. Bam. Bounces right back. Goldman Sachs, Netflix. Look at Boeing right there, right? And Microsoft. The guidance was not good. You thought, that's what's going to be bring them down. Nope. Second biggest weighted stock in the S&P and NASDAQ didn't get phased. Did not get phased. It is amazing to watch. But here's the thing. Remember, where are they keeping us right now? What's happening? All you got to do to keep it simplified, right there, they keep keeping us in this wedging us down. And this will basically take us to the FOMC meeting and stuff. So I think we'll see if we get the move from there or even February 14th, which I believe we get core CPI then. And then the only level you need to know about, 4,100. Break that, see you later. Off to the races because that gives us that higher high, and the bulls will definitely be in charge at that point in time. Right now, short term, they're definitely in charge as far as I'm concerned, controlling this market. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And if you're getting anything out of this, please hit the like and think about sharing the video, guys. And I know some people want to argue differently on that, but you got to ask yourself, you got to step back and take a big picture and look and say, what's going to bring down the market? All right. Remember, I talked about this in December. I said, where is this earnings apocalypse coming from? I don't see it. Now with the dollar weakening, yields coming down, all this stuff, right? And people are like, no, it's going to bring them down. Not right now. And unless there's some crazy thing that happens on FOMC meeting day, right now it's 0.25%, right? And so if they do that, the market already knows that. The market already knows about inflation, right? And so unless inflation starts ramping back up, which could happen because you see, these commodities are going back up. I mean, I don't know what's going on in lumber. Somebody let me know in the comments. I don't know what's going on with that, but all of a sudden it's like just skyrocketing. I mean, so, and again, I don't know the lag effect, like how long that takes to get into the numbers. I don't know because they keep changing the calculations and stuff. And so that's what we're going to find out. And again, with this new calculation year over year, the numbers should look even better. And all the market cares about is, it's trying to think 3 to 6 months out. And I want to just say this. I'm not making fun of addicts or anything like that. I got some in my family. Trust me, horrible thing. But I've told you before, and if you can make a better comparison or analogy than me, please let me know in the comments and I'll use it. But, it's simply this. What is the market? It's an addict, right? And my brother's a cop, and he always, he tells me about dealing with crack addicts, right? He's been a cop for a long time. And he said, something about a crack addict? He said, when they're in withdrawal, you can literally give them a pipe. It can have dynamite in it. They don't care. They will light it up, right? What is the market? It's an addict, right? What does it want? What is its fix? It's basically what I say free money, but easing financial conditions, right? And it don't matter what's going on in the economy. It don't matter because they don't care. They're thinking day by day. They don't care, And so when you see those financial conditions easing, they gave the stock market a crack pipe. Right? Don't matter they don't care what's in it. They don't care what's in it. They'll smoke it. Right? They'll buy because the worst thing that can happen to them, they just sell everything at the top, short the market and ride it back down. Things get really bad. That's it. When I say the market, not me or you, I'm talking about the millionaires, billionaires, and hedge funds. Okay? I mean, that's what you see happening. Right? And so, again, I hope the analogy don't offend people, but if you can come up with a better one, let me know. And so, because remember, you're thinking, a lot of you guys, and I'm the same way, right? You're looking at this data and you go, my God, this economic data is horrible. The earnings aren't good, right? The forecasts aren't even good. And yet, the market it refuses to go down. Now, I will say this. Now I'm fixing to show you why the market won't go down. Okay? And what the real reason the market just isn't going down right now. I don't mean it can't go down. But me personally, I just don't think it can happen until one thing in particular happens. And I want to, again, I'm a regular person, right? Nothing magical about me. Got a regular IQ, a regular memory, all that good stuff, right? Got the same degrees you guys got probably. But I want to show you something. And I'm going to take you back to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm going to show you what I tell the members, right? And it's not a prediction. I just put in there, here's what the optimal range for the market will be, right? And so let's test it out, right? And again, they say always perfect. So this is Monday because some crazy news event happens that blows it out of the water. But here you can see I put in here Max Pain, which is the options deal with expirations and stuff. It's 392. The SPY is set to open at 396. That's the key. Most puts expiring today at 385 and 392 and calls at 400 a day. Of course, this is much less options than with monthly options expiring last week, but the optimal range will be 392 to 400 with the SPY right up against the 200-day moving average. Tomorrow's Max Pain is 395, so I'll look to the next day as well. And so that might affect it as well. But then when you look at what range we ended up in, you can see 396.50 to 401, right? And so the range worked. You'll be a little bit off here and there. And then you go to Tuesday, right? So we look at this one. I said Max Pain is 398. Most puts expiring day at 397 and 401 is your calls. So the optimal range would be between those two price points, which is a 1% range. So I can't imagine that's going to be the case. And what happened? Ended up from 398 to 450. So right in there, just look at a 0.67% range, right? Go to the day. Told them, hey, Max Pain is 399, SPY set to open at 396.15. The most puts expire at 395 and calls at 405 and 410. The optimal range is 395 to 405. And of course, what ends up happening? We go 0.4% below to 393.50, 0.47% below, and then close out at 4. So almost right on there, right? And all I'm doing is going here and looking at what options are expiring. What's the big ones, right? And you can see right there, and I go, well, that must be the optimal range, right? But then I'm also looking forward to tomorrow, the next day as well. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at Friday, right? This is the Fridays when it really matters. So that's when a lot of options expire, especially on the third Friday of the month. But look at it. 390 is what, if you want to call it a put wall, you can. It's not like there's a boatload of them up there, but this is the biggest one, right? But what do you see more of, calls or puts? The dark ones is the puts, by the way. You see puts, right? And look at the calls. There's just not a lot of bullish calls out there. Now, of course, this can change with ODTE options, which people buy a boatload of. But you can just see, what do you see here, bullishness or bearishness? And that's my thing. I've been talking about it for a while now. I'm like, how can the market drop unless there's some event we can't see coming, like some credit crunch or crisis or some financial institution filing bankruptcy, which I can't see happening, right? I mean, because why would the market allow the market to drop and have to pay out all those puts? Why do that? It just doesn't make any sense at all. And if that doesn't show you a regular guy predicting ranges, and we're dang near almost right in between them every day this week and many times before, and this is during earnings. We're supposed to be really volatile, right? That's why I'm thinking there's no way this is going to work. But it is so far, right? And it doesn't always work, but a lot of times, yes, you can get these ranges. I think like even on the weekly options ranges, stocks will stay within that range 68 to 70% of the time. That is huge. That lets you know, yes, the market is being driven by what? Options, market makers, manipulation. That's just the way you can sit there with your head in the sand all you want, saying that's not true. But I mean, really? Like, I'm the one coming up with those ranges, not Nostradamus. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's not always 100%, but a lot of times it is. The most times it really is. And so, again, let me know in the comments, how can the market drop if the market won't let it drop? The people who control the market just won't let it drop. And so to me, until you start seeing the calls, and what's even crazier to me is you look at the fear and greed index. We're in greed. We've been in greed for a while now. People are obviously buying, certain things, but what they're not buying is SPY calls, right? And that's the overall market itself. I'll start looking into Qs even more though to see. But again, it's not like you're going to see the Qs drop and the SPY start going up. I mean, that's not the way the market's going to work anyway, because they hold a lot of the same stocks like Apple and Microsoft, right? And so again, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I just don't see how it take a major drop unless the calls get loaded up on. When you start seeing those call walls and then the puts start declining, to me, that makes sense, right? But we'll see. I could be totally wrong. And as far as earnings, obviously earnings aren't really moving this market a whole lot. They're not dropping it. They're not sending it through the moon. But tomorrow is all about the airline CEOs bragging about how much they're raising rates on us and how they're going to hold them, because there's a lot of demand and very little supply. MasterCard, Visa is going to be big ones to listen to. They usually do very good because they do a good job managing their costs. More important, I want to hear about us, like how much they're putting back for defaults, how much are we still running credit cards up. And then, of course, Intel be more for semiconductors. Supposedly it's a big comeback year for Intel. We'll have to see. And then, of course, looking at, could this affect the market tomorrow? Maybe. But you got GDP, you got core durable goods coming out, you got unemployment claims coming out. And so could that move the market some? Sure. It absolutely could. But, again, we'll see what the range is tomorrow. I haven't even looked at it right now. Right now we're just staying these tight ranges, it seems like. And when you think it's going to sell off, it doesn't. It head fakes. Opposite way. When you think it's going to go up, head fakes, down we go. And so, we'll see. Just let me know in the comments what you're doing. Well, what do you think Tesla's going to do tomorrow? Because right now, I don't think Elon spoke yet, but it's kind of flat. But remember, it's had a huge move up, right? From 104 upwards of 146 being the high, I believe it is. But as far as I'm concerned, looking on the daily chart, it looks nice. It really does, because it's nowhere near. Remember, even when that big move up was crazy, it was so oversold that it's not even close to being overbought right now. And I looked at it today, but according to last night, not even close. It can literally run between 160 to 175 before it gets to overbought territory. And Tesla's one of those stocks, it can run into overbought for a while. And so, keep that in mind. We'll have to see and everything. Again, more earnings coming out, but I think Visa and MasterCard, they usually do pretty dang good. And so I don't think they're going to bring down the market. And what earnings can? We'll have to see. I think Apple reports next week. We'll have to see on that, maybe. But if that don't bring it down, I don't know what's going to bring it down. So anyway, hope you guys have a good one. Hit the like and subscribe button if you got anything out of it. And I'll see you tomorrow.